Match, a program that helps you choose mutual funds to match your needs.
I saw your ad in the paper.
Another CD was maturing.
Yes, I'm wondering if you could send me some
So we did our homework and called for information on several mutual funds. We're willing to put in time and
See
effort.
if you can figure that thing out.
Who writes this stuff?
Yeah, look at this.
But there has to be an easier way.
To help you choose a mix of mutual funds that may be right for you, Fidelity has the free Fund Match Kit. You'll receive a step-by-step worksheet that helps you develop a personal plan, plus an easy-to-use workbook that explains the importance of diversification. So call Fidelity today for your free Fund Match Kit. Call 1-800-547-8787.
It isn't just anyone who can set up a deal in Tashkent, or Almaty, or Istanbul, or Bombay. And it certainly isn't just any airline that can get you there. People do business all over the world. Good thing Lufthansa flies there.
Tonight, it's never politics as usual on Equal Time with Mary Matalin and exciting guests.
The balanced budget amendment sinks in the Senate as Republicans fail to pick up the one vote needed to pass one of their top legislative priorities. Can the GOP pick up the pieces? On hand to discuss this issue and more, Senate Majority Whip Trent Lott on the next Insiders.
Industry Week's Management Today is your source for the latest trends and insight from today's leading executives. CNBC's Ron Insana guides you through the managerial minefields. Industry Week's Management Today, weekends only on CNBC, first in business.
The balanced budget amendment goes down to defeat in the United States Senate. On hand to discuss what now for the Republicans, Senate Majority Whip Trent Lott. And up close, does Intuit have an Intel-style problem on its hand? The personal financial software giant announced plans today to offer free replacement software to fix bugs in its prize tax accounting program. On hand to discuss this and the company's pending merger with Microsoft, Intuit chairman Scott Cook. Next on Business Insiders.
On this vote, the yeas are 65, the nays are 35. Two-thirds of the senators voting not having voted in the affirmative. The joint resolution is not passed.
Stop the revolution, or at least slow it down. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Business Insiders. I'm Neil Cavuto. Has the contract now been crunched? At the very least, the cornerstone of the Grand Old Party's contract with America is kaput for the moment. Yes. A Republican-led drive to balance the federal budget by way of a constitutional amendment fell short in the U.S. Senate today. The sticking and undoing point, Social Security. Opponents of the measure wanted it kept out of the amendment. They didn't get their way, so they didn't vote for it. A chastened Senate Majority Leader Bob Dole promised he'd bring up the whole thing again, possibly right before the next election. Well, joining us now to discuss today's balanced budget amendment in more detail, Bill Wolman. Bill is, of course, the chief economist at Business Week magazine, and economics columnist Kathleen Hayes. Bill, what do you make of this now? Where does this put the Republicans?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's a plague on both the Democratic and Republican houses, or I guess Senate in this case. It's just politics as usual. If you trace everybody's movement, the guys who went from for to against and those who against to for, pure politics. So I think that this really plays into the hands of a third-party candidacy, believe it or not. It does not make the Republicans look very good, and the Democrats haven't looked very good for a long time anyway.
You know, Kathleen, I don't want to read a lot into this. Bond market was down today. The stock market was down today. And I hear a lot of people saying in part because of this.
Oh, I'm sure it was in part because of that, although there were some numbers suggesting maybe the economy still has a little more life in it than people would like to see, those people who don't want the Fed to raise rates for, but that's another story. The question is, how much will the budget be cut? How much will spending be cut? And the Republicans needed this fig leaf, this cover of the amendment to make tough cuts. Now they don't have it. And in fact, if they can't use Social Security surpluses to balance the budget, it would be virtually impossible, much more impossible than it is now, to balance the budget and deliver a middle-class tax cut. That's what the Republicans want to do. So without the cover of the balanced budget amendment, they probably lack the political will to go ahead and cut spending sharply, and the Democrats haven't demonstrated to be big on that yet anyway.
John F. Kennedy once wrote a book called Profiles in Courage, right, which won a Pulitzer Prize. I'm not sure he was one of the guys who, by the way, had that kind of courage he was talking about, but boy, there was none of that in Congress this time. There really wasn't. I don't know anybody in this case who did anything that was the least bit courageous.
Does it hurt Bob Dole and his presidential prospects?
I can come to no other conclusion. You know,